What's up? Gonna be starting in a little while, so hold tight. I'm gonna be right with y'all. Marcus. Marcus Speaks. What's up, everybody? What's going on? I'm your host, Marcus, and this is another episode of Marcus Speaks. How's everybody doing out there tonight? If you're here and you're hearing the sound of my voice, I'd like to give you all a round of applause. You hear me? So, just want to go over a few things. First things first. Hold up. This is one thing I didn't think to do last night, but I'm doing it now. So, as always, I want to get one thing out the way before I get into everything else. Well, a few things out the way before I get into anything else. I am streaming live using Restream, and Restream it's a website where it allows you to stream simultaneously to several places. You can stream to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all kinds of places, Periscope. So I use Restream to do my podcast and my gaming channel. If you guys watch Marcus Speaks Play. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I'm not being paid by them to say this or anything. I just think of them as a helpful tool, other than other streaming companies such as like Zoom and what's the other one? StreamYard. But I'm very fond of StreamYard though. Like I said, if you're interested, I do a game stream on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys are interested, go to my channel, look at the playlist that I have up. It has I have several playlists. I have Mafia Definitive Edition. I got Mario 3D World, and I have Biomutant, which I'm playing right now. So you guys can pick your choice of what you want. And if you have any ideas or recommendations for either the podcast or the game stream, please hit me up in my DMs or the comments sections or on either Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, or you can hit this live chat that I got going on right now. If you want, if you want to write something, I'll show it on the screen just like this. You know what I mean? So, my social media is where you can reach me is Instagram at Marcus.speaks.podcast, Facebook, which is my personal page that I'm going to give you is Marcus Speaks. Join the group page, please. The group page is Marcus Speaks Podcast. All right. The way you can find it is Marcus Speaks PC on Facebook. All right. So don't be shy. Hit it up. Everybody on Facebook, please come on over to YouTube. I am what I do with the live videos on Facebook is I delete them. All right. But I have a YouTube link to this video. I do this with every video, with my game stream videos and my podcast videos. I have a link in this place. Once this stream is over, I delete both videos from both the group and the off the Facebook group and my personal page. I delete both videos entirely, and I have the link in this place. So you guys come on over here to Facebook. It doesn't, not Facebook, to YouTube. It doesn't, I don't bite. All right. Make sure you come on over here. Okay. So one thing I would like to get out of the way is fair use. So this is fair use because a lot of people may ask, well, what the hell is fair use, Marcus? Well, I'm about to tell you. So fair use, it's the law. All right. This isn't for me. This is to protect my channel and my Facebook pages. But sooner than later, I'm going to be going. Well, I'm going to stretch myself out a little thin for a while. I'm gonna go over to not Facebook, to Instagram pretty soon, possibly Twitch and Twitter. So I'm still in the thoughts of thinking if I should do that or not. But if I do, I'm gonna be spreading myself out a little thin. So it's the law. I just want to protect myself from Facebook and YouTube right now. Facebook and YouTube. I have the fair use description in the description box. So, just to get certain things out of the way first. So yeah, fair use is the law. So warning, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, which I do, news reporting, which I also do, and teaching, which I sort of kind of do, and parody, which I won't say that I do parody at all. I joke around, but I don't do parody. Which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. So that's fair use. Sorry, that's fair use, and that's the whole thing of it. So, everybody, I come to you today to talk about basically everything that's going on, right? So, we've lived in this country where, and I'm reading off my little script here. So, we lived in this country where they lead their citizens by fear. Hold on, this is serious. Let me turn that down. Or let me change the song. Yeah. This sounds like a serious song. Alright, so we've lived in this country where they lead their citizens by fear. Starting with 9/11 2001. Research and studies have shown along the conspiracy theories leading to truths that maybe 9/11 was an inside job when the evidence showed that it was more than what meets the eye. Ever since the pandemic started, we have seen how the human species, have treated each other when faced with adversity. 6 foot social distancing warnings, so you don't catch the new highly contagious. I don't want to say the word, but because I don't want to be flagged for something. Uh, the cocoa. So, contagious, new highly contagious, uh, I might as well just say highly contagious virus that that has to have experimental treatment that hasn't yet been approved by the FDA. The same, the same FDA that approves harmful chemicals to be added to food and drink, uh, in our highly addictive medications. Due to the virus, we are experiencing food shortages. We thought the disinfectant, bleach, and toilet paper shortage last year was bad. So was bad. I'm slowly transferring my diet to less meat and more veggies, only because there is a beef shortage and a chicken shortage. Just think, you could walk into a Walmart tomorrow and begin to see an entire shelf empty due to manufacturers and distributors being understaffed and fewer resources being able to be delivered. While this is going on, new voices have hit the internet airwaves preaching their doctrine, from high value man to mama's cooking. Most of us have been out of work due to the virus, but somehow has the ability to super chat, Cash App, or PayPal internet sensations only because churches was closed due to the pandemic. Let me play that song over again. I kind of like the feel. So, so the money has to go somewhere. These guys have made out well with a new financial gain and followership to back it. I paused it. I didn't want to. Where was I at? Followership to back it up. The Great Reset is in our midst. Separation is at its all-time high, not only because we can't be around each other, but we've stopped trusting each other due to the virus, the invisible boogeyman that guides our very steps. Uh, so what? So what will we learn today? So what will we learn today in today's show? Well, the country is looking at another lockdown due to new Delta variant, and how the country in each state, how the country in each state is experiencing 1,000 cases an hour, which sounds like a lie to me. It really does. It sounds like a fucking lie. Food shortages not only in this country but in other countries around the world are experiencing famines. And lastly, how the modern day preacher is banking on the weak minded and gaining followership in the process. This has happened over time throughout centuries and will continue to happen because you reap what you sow. All right. So that was my monologue. That's what I wrote for my monologue to sum up, basically give you a brief synopsis of what today's show is going to be about. Um, if you guys haven't noticed, I changed my setting, right? I've been wanting to change. I've been wanting to change my surrounding for a minute. Basically my background. Only for the simple fact that I felt it was too blue, and I wouldn't say that it was. I won't say that it was hard on the eye, but I wanted a different feel. You know what I mean? So this is the new studio. I still got my desk. I still, got the TV. But as you can see, I have a backdrop in the back. Not, it's not my logo anymore. I felt like that was too, crass and too. It was a little too self-serving to me. So, let me turn that down. Go to the next song. So, I wanted something to be more newsy podcasty. Basically, this is what I got. Um. So, okay. So with today's video, what am I going to talk about? So, okay. My first story is the news reporting that there are 1,000 cases over the country, and it just sounds like a lie. Like it really does. It sounds like a lie. Um, to basically try to get into this and to basically give you guys what I think is whack for the news trying to do this is it's all because of this new variant, and it's Biden's goals hasn't been met yet, but whatever. um but I forgot to do one thing. If you guys are on Facebook and you're watching this, come on over to YouTube, type in Marcus Speaks. If you can find me, look for this thumbnail right here. All right, this thumbnail right here will guide you where I'm at. Come on over to the video. Don't be shy. Hit that comment section up. Any comment section, it doesn't matter. But just make sure you write something that goes along with what I'm talking about. So let me get into this first story. So, like I said, it's been 1,000 cases that the news has been basically spewing out to us, and it just sounds like a lie. So let me get into it. So every news outlet is reporting saying that every state is experiencing 1,000 cases an hour. But in every state, though, how could 1,000 cases be reported every hour? That means that's 24,000 cases an hour, right? 24,000 cases a day, basically. And y'all do the math for how much that is in a week. Just put 24,000 times 7, which should give you like some number around like maybe the hundreds. The 100,000s, I meant. But yeah, it just sounds like a lie. So, you just gotta think about it. There's not enough emergency staff to take care of 1,000 cases an hour. That's number one. Number two, these emergency rooms don't have the resources to take care of those cases. They don't have the resources. They don't have the proper medications. They don't have the treatments. And I'm pretty sure they don't have enough vaccines to go around, which if you're taking that, then more power to you. So if it doesn't seem a little crazy to y'all that, the news is reporting 1,000 cases an hour, let me tell you how. Let me tell you why and how they're doing it. It seems highly unlikely only because we don't know how dangerous the new variant is, because we've learned that UV rays kills said virus, the original COVID-19 virus, or the cocoa, as we should say. Uh, Washing our hands for 20 seconds or more allows us not to be able to contract the virus or any other diseases, right? By washing our hands. If our hands are clean, then it won't pick up any sort of uh, disease or virus of us. But if you are touching shit like doorknobs and stuff like that, make sure you have your hand sanitizers because they have asked us to use hand sanitizer as well. But um, it's just what they ask. So social distancing is also a joke because the average sneeze distance is between 20 to 30 feet. So they're asking us to socially distance by 6 feet, but if someone sneezes, then it's traveling 20 to 30 feet more. Well, not 20 to 30 feet more, but it's traveling 14 to 24 feet more than what they're asking us to social distance with. So that just became a joke, the whole 6 feet thing. But if you didn't know how far your sneeze traveled, then if you had science teachers like mine, you could have had them tell you how far sneezes travel if you was interested. So so maybe the spread of the virus comes from shedding. Nobody knows what shedding is. This is what shedding is. Okay, so people who got the jab, so that meant that they were clear of not wearing a mask and to be able to be in groups more than 10 like they asked us to, right? So that means they have no mask, they're not socially distancing, and they're just out here just doing whatever, right? So do so shedding basically is them shedding the virus, basically, the cocoa. So shedding is due to, hold on. Yeah, so and I want to be clear with this. Shedding is due to patients getting the cocoa jab, like I said, not wearing a mask, like I also said, and think that they're in the clear of the virus, which they're not. The vaccine doesn't entail that you cannot contract the cocoa again, right? The only reason why I'm saying cocoa is for the. I had to say the actual thing just so you can know what the hell I'm talking about. So when I say cocoa, I'm talking about you know what I'm talking about. So people who got the jab, the shot, they've been um very irresponsible with how they go about going around and being around people. And it's like you really can't tell them nothing. But this is what shedding does. So we don't know much about the virus and its variant because of secrecy surrounding the virus, the jab being politicized by Biden and his administration and the Democratic Party. Um, what I say? Hell, look, there was a doctor, right? I forgot what state. I think I want to say Florida, but I'm not sure. Probably California. So there was a doctor's office, a OBGYN, and he had to lay off his office staff for the simple fact that they're considered essential workers, first responders, stuff like that, right? So he had to lay off his staff for the simple fact that uh, they um, they were shedding onto the female patients that were pregnant, and they were causing the women to go into early miscarriages and loss of their child that they were bearing. So he had to lay that staff off. But if you look at certain articles or whatever, because basically where all of my stuff comes from is articles, and then I just match it with a picture, and then I match it with a video, right? So if you've been here before, you've seen how I get down. So yeah, all of this that I'm telling you right now is from articles that I've read throughout the week before I come here and I do my show. So then I delivered to you guys so you guys can have a good understanding of what's going on, or at least a well enough understanding so you can go and do your own research. Because I don't want you to believe me entirely. I want you to be able to do your own research. All right. All right. So let's go on. Um. All right. My eye is bothering me. All right. So, some businesses are banning Vax customers from their premises, believing Vax poses a health risk to others. The State Department of Health the State Department of Health's latest latest sequencing and variant report shows that the Delta variant accounts for 57.5% of cases that have been genotyped, a jump from the previous report that pegged the variant at 27.5%. Infectious disease expert predicted that Delta variant would become the prominent cocoa strain by the end of July. And as you can see, if you've been watching the news for probably the past month, all they've been pushing is this Delta variant, right? The Delta variant hospitalized this many people. Delta variant is here in Iowa now. Like it's just been a lot of stuff around the Delta variant, right? And they want to make it as prominent as they want to make it as prominent for the simple fact that they're trying to scare us, right? Because essentially, this is what's going to happen, right? If enough people don't get the jab, then there could be another lockdown coming down pretty soon. Possibly by the time school starts back up. Now, that's just an observation. That's just an observation. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not fear mongering. But if you look at C-SPAN, if you read reports and stuff like that, they basically outline it to the fact to where they're basically saying in a way that if enough people don't get vaxxed, then we're going back into lockdown, right? So, the Federal Center of Disease Control and Prevention has classified the Delta variant as a variant of concern because it spreads faster than COVID-19, and there could be an increased risk of hospitalization. But is there what the hell? That doesn't go right there. All right, so let me try to sum this whole sentence up. All right, so basically, these news these news conglomerates and these news reports and stuff like that, They're trying to spook us to Biden's vax goal. They're trying to get us to meet that goal because I think he said he wants at least 75% to be 75% of people to be vaxxed in the country. I think that number is at like maybe 50 something, probably 40. So since he didn't meet his goal during July 1st, they're trying to go all out because you got to remember, like I just said, the FDA said, was it FDA that said that? No, the infectious disease expert said that Delta variant will be the variant of concern, and it will be the talk of the town by the end of July. It's the end of July. This is the last day of July. They've been talking about the Delta variant since last week, since I think maybe June. They've been talking about, but they haven't been pushing it as hard until this month came about. So, and they're saying that non-vax people are spreading the virus, but most of non-vax people are still following mask mandates, social distancing, and all the other mandates like stay in the house and stuff like that. All non-vax people are still following these mandates. I didn't get the jab. So all I go to work, I come home. Uh I go grocery shopping. I make sure I stick to only one store only when I do my grocery shopping. And then I come home. All right. Um, since I'm non-vaxxed, I don't try to be around a lot of people. If so, I make sure that the people that I'm going around, I ask them if they've been vaccinated or if they haven't been vaccinated. Doesn't really matter for the simple fact that I'm still wearing my mask anywhere I go. Unless I trust you. If you like a close friend or something like that, or a family member, then I'll stretch the rules. But other than that, is masked everywhere I go. I wear a mask all day at work. I wear a mask outside when I'm at work. Unless I'm like vaping or something like that or eating, that's the only time I don't wear my mask. But other than that, I'm always masked up. You know what I'm saying? So and they're also calling non-vaxxers super spreaders, which isn't the case as well. So it's all a ploy to get people to take the jab, but it's not working. So Biden is now forcing federal workers to get the jab by force. He said that the beginning, I think, of this week, that all federal workers have to get the jab. I think before this week is up. I think so. To all the federal workers, I bid you adieu. All right. Um, but But what an ugly country, right? How are you going to force people to take something that maybe some of them don't even want to take? How can you force somebody? Now, I can't understand, to be honest, I really can't understand like post office workers because they don't actually come in contact with people. Now, I do understand that they're handling our mail and, I'm pretty sure people are thinking that they want their uh, male person to be vaxxed and clean of the virus. But as we know, and as I just told y'all a few moments ago, um, that you know you can still get the virus with the vaccination. So it might be some reports out there that say that you can't, but come on, trust me. I know what I'm talking about. So, cold and flu season is approaching, so even a bigger push to get vaxxed is upon us. That's the reason why I said that there possibly could be another lockdown coming down pretty soon, for the simple fact that cold and flu season's coming up. We got this Delta variant out. That shit don't mix with each other, But they could be inflating the numbers as well. Let's check this out real fast. Let me share my screen real fast with y'all. So, check this out. Doses administered of the vaccine tracker: 9,379,557 people have been vaccinated. That's both doses. One dose is 59.9% of people who just got one dose, and people who are fully vaccinated is 53.8%. But that comes from the Virginia Department of Health. That's just in the state of Virginia. The number nationwide, I don't really know that number. But before I finish this story, this is what I want to do. I want to play a video for you guys, because I'm all about getting y'all all of this information. All right, I want to give you guys all this information. I didn't set that up, so all right, there we go. I gotta set one more thing up just in case if I gotta bring something up, or I gotta hold on, let me see if it's up. Let's see. All right, now that's up. Cool. Just in case if I got research something as I'm on here with you guys. So, this video is from NBC News, and they're covering California. So basically, what they're covering on this is basically the same stuff that I've been covering: 1,000 cases, vaccines, stuff of that nature.
Tonight, Los Angeles, the nation's largest county, taking a step back, requiring masks indoors, even for the vaccinated, effective Sunday. Impacting 10 million people here and breaking with CDC guidance, it's a clear signal concern is growing over the highly contagious Delta variant. Meantime, for some of the 48 million children under 12 and their parents who were hoping to get them vaccinated this fall, a longer wait. The FDA will now review several additional months of safety data, meaning a vaccine for kids won't likely be available until early next year.
It makes it a very stressful time to be a parent, an educator, and a child. That all schools should really have very strong contingency plans. What are the metrics by which we would go back to virtual learning? What will we do to keep children and staff safe?
While more than 4 million...
Now, hold up. So, with, kids going back to school, they want school to be fully open this year. They want school to be fully open. But it's a lot of people that's hesitant, right? Because there's been many cases where people have gotten the virus, right? They have gotten, or they've gotten the jab, and, adverse effects happen, so on and so on, and shit happens, right? Or they gotten the virus and something, they had an adverse effect to it, something happened, so on and so on, right? So, okay, look. let me reiterate something. When you have a vaccination, right? If you guys don't already know this, when you have a vaccination, in that vaccination is normally either a weakened part of the strain that's out, or it's a dead uh, virus in the vaccination. It's either a weakened version of the virus or a dead version of the virus. Just so when injected into you, your immune system starts to fight this foreign entity off. That's how it works. In the case of this vaccine, it's nowhere to be found. But you know, that's science for you. But anyway, let's keep going. Did my mouse die? What the hell's happening?
And if contracted COVID, less than 2% have been hospitalized, and only a small fraction have died. But now our nation is bracing for a tidal wave of new infections, as experts fear a new flood of COVID cases is just beginning to grip the country.
We've exceeded last year's peak.
While outbreaks were expected in unvaccinated pockets of the nation, 98 million are still not inoculated. 40 states are seeing a rise in infections. Tonight at Yankee Stadium, positive COVID tests have forced the game against the Red Sox to be postponed. The Delta variant, a serious risk.
It's going to find those pockets in each community where people aren't vaccinated, and it's going to do a lot of damage.
Tonight,
What he means is black and brown communities. That's what he means. Because they're pushing hard, and if you haven't heard Biden talk about this, or anybody talk about this, they would like black and brown communities to get the vaccine first, just so they can see what happens. And we all have seen what has happened. Nothing good. So let's keep going.
it's being done, and for the unvaccinated, including the youngest Americans, the worst may still be to come. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
All right. That was NBC News. So yeah. So what we can learn from this is that you have a choice to make. Do you want to get the jab or do you not want to get the jab? That's not what I asked for. All right, there we go. So so let me keep going. So where am I at? All right, so as they said on there, California has went back into mask mandates and potential lockdowns due to an uptick of the cocoa cases. The CDC has said that North Carolina is one of the 24 states with a noticeable recent increase in cases. That list includes most of the Southeast. Well, we remembered that the Southeast, right, in the Southeast region, that certain places was wide the hell open. Atlanta, I should just say Georgia. Uh, Georgia and Florida was wide open. Not too sure about North Carolina, but we got to remember what these states do for their economy. Basically, tourism dollars. You have Atlanta is a tourism spot. Is a new tourism spot because the city's building up. And then you have, your Fort Lauderdales, your Miamis, Key Wests. Nobody vacations in Jacksonville. But yeah, you just have, you had all of these places wide open, and we could see on social media um, how in Atlanta they were having fucking COVID parties. at lounges and bars and clubs and shit. Like they didn't really give a fuck. They were just out here just doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. They were just out here just being young, wild, and free and 21. So yeah. They who's this? Chronos. I'm in California. Went to Walmart this morning. Lady at the hold on. Let me put your comment on the screen. So you say, I'm in California, went to Walmart this morning. Lady at the door told me masks are recommended but required for employees. I also went uh, to Save Mart, and most are not wearing masks, even saw employees. Well, Kronos, mask mandates they're for the country for the most part. They're we don't have to wear a mask if we've been vaccinated. But uh look, I'm a skeptic. I don't really believe what most of what the government tells me, for the simple fact that we all know that the government has lied to us in the past about stuff. But all I'm saying about that is Chronos, for yourself, protect you and your family. Don't allow your state government, your local government, or the federal government to tell you what to do, because they want you to fall under that false sense of insecurity for the simple fact that they want you to depend on them. Don't depend on the government. Depend on yourself. Make your own choices, and make sure that you feel as though that when you make your choice is the best choice that that will help you. So that's really what I gotta say about that. But just be safe if you're out there, at the grocery stores and stuff like that. Just be safe. You know what I mean? All right. So, Washington State Department of Health reported 125 new cocoa cases, 68 hospitalizations, and 8 deaths. Tuesday's number brings the state to 470,333 cases, 26,566 people have been hospitalized, and 6,097 deaths. Now, I said this earlier. Maybe that could have been an inflation for the simple fact that there aren't that many cocoa cases, so they're blaming people's hospitalizations on cocoa when it could be like a minor infraction, like you know, uh, like a stomach flu or stomach bug or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be something that's not out of the ordinary, that they're just trying to inflate the cocoa numbers. That's all. That's all. So, but yeah, like we just gotta, we just gotta be safe within ourselves to know that we're making the right choices when we're going out there, uh, going shopping or just hanging around friends, going to the park. We just gotta be safe with ourselves to know that whatever choice that we're making is the right choice for us and for others. So that's that story. So I think I have one more video for you guys. Yeah, I got one more video about this and then I'll move on. So let me bring the TV back on. and let's enjoy.
Tonight, inside a growing number of hospitals across the country, there is little doubt our nation has already entered a fourth wave, an explosive summer surge in COVID cases few predicted, fueled by the highly contagious Delta variant, now accounting for 83% of all new cases. The U.S. is already averaging 26,000 new infections.
Like I said, that's probably an inflation. It's probably not that many people getting cocoa like that. So, or it could be the people who's been vaccinated who feel free and they're just going out doing any and everything. So that's what it could be.
A day, over 1,000 an hour.
The reason it's so formidable is
this
the fact
motherfucker.
that it has the capability of transmitting efficient.
Why do we believe what this dude says out of his face anymore? After them emails came out. That's all I gotta say.
From human to human in an extraordinary manner.
Today on Capitol Hill, the nation's top pandemic doctors said it's the unvaccinated accelerating the pandemic as deaths skyrocket by nearly 50%.
We have things open at 100%. Nobody's wearing masks.
With the highest infection rates in the nation,
Like I said,
states like Missouri, Arkansas, and Florida have vaccination centers that are empty and hospital beds that are full.
How concerned are you that children will be at the center of the next surge in the fall?
Yes, I think that there's that concern.
Hold up, which is scary that they're looking at children next. Now, we know no child has, well, kids today do. Most kids, I won't say all. I won't say most. I'll say some kids have health problems. Some kids. I always say kids now are soft because kids are getting asthma, which asthma hasn't really been something that's new, but kids are more acceptable to getting asthma. Most kids now are morbidly obese, so that plays a factor into if they get COVID and stuff like that, or if they get the vax or not, or the jab. But we just gotta be very forward thinking in what we're gonna do when this next school year happens. So let's continue.
At the University of Alabama, Birmingham, the pediatric care unit was nearly forced to shut down after a flood of children suffering from respiratory viruses that usually spike and spread in the winter. Cases of RSV are surging as restrictions loosen and more children gather together, the same way COVID came.
People just be smart, be safe, try to protect yourself.
Now fearing a widespread fall surge, even vaccines are no guarantee against Delta's serious threat. Today we learned a fully vaccinated White House staffer and an aide to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also tested positive for the virus after meeting with fully inoculated Democratic Texas lawmakers who flew maskless to Washington and suffered breakthrough infections.
I covered that story last week. If you want to check that video out. When I go back to doing, my end cards and stuff like that, I'll fit that in to this point in time. So an hour and a minute. So I'll add that in there once I finish this. But yeah, Nancy Pelosi caught COVID due to the Texas Democrats being up in D.C. to talk about certain laws and stuff. I went over all that last week, so if you guys want to check that podcast out, it is you'll see it. It'll say something like let me figure out what it says. It says Texas passed abortion and history bill. That's the video. So if you guys want to go over it after this podcast is done and watch that video, I incline you to do that. All right. Well, let's continue.
Tonight, an evolving threat as the unvaccinated face a future that looked more like our past.
Miguel, I know there and LA you've been watching cases among the unvaccinated exploding. I understand another nearby city is taking action.
Lester, the city of Pasadena, citing the climate infection, says residents there, even if vaccinated, will need to wear masks again indoors. The city's also requiring all of its employees to be vaccinated.
And I think I went over that last week as well, where where it's a guy I spoke on. It was a guy, he called into a podcast and he wanted um he he wanted some advice from the podcast host, because basically and I'm going to go over this briefly. He basically said how he wanted he wanted to get this job, but the job required him to get the jab. He didn't want to get the jab, but he's faced with adversity because he's taking care of his mother and his little sister. His little sister's a teenager. I think he had just graduated college. So he's trying to be responsible, but at the same time, he doesn't want to have anything to do with he didn't want to have anything to do with getting the jab. All right. Okay, so this next story. The food shortage situation that's going on. So if you guys haven't been actually paying attention to what's happening right now, there's a food shortage situation going on. So like I said, if you guys ever walk into a Walmart and it looks like this, then there's a problem. Only because, and I think this is a Walmart, if I'm not mistaken. um, Only for the simple fact that there's chicken shortages, there's beef shortages, uh, chicken wings aren't readily available right now. Uh, Chicken tenders aren't really available right now. So if you're going to like a fast food spot and you try to order like the new chicken sandwich or something like that, and they say they don't have it, this is why there's a food shortage happening. Which Popeyes, KFC, churches, and anybody else, Raising Cane and Bojangles, I think they got their, I guess they bought a good supply of chicken, so they're serving right now. If you guys are hungry, I'm not promoting a business at all. I'm just saying, if you hungry, go and get something to eat. So, um, let's get into this. So, according to reports, labor and freight costs and supply issues continue to be a challenge with most processors, pointing pointing particular uh, pointing particularly to a shortage of certain chicken part sales. Fresh jumbo chicken, jumbo tenders, and boneless thigh meat prices have reached near record highs, and frozen chicken wing inventory is at the lowest levels since 2012. Now that's scary because people like chicken, people like frying, baking, grilling, all kinds of shit with chicken, and plus it's a good source of protein when you working out. Other than beef, but beef brings on other health issues and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, it's at an all time low since 2012. That's only that's 9 years ago? But I'll tell you why. Consumers are also paying more at the grocery store for much of the meat they take home and cook, as well as for their favorite takeout burgers and burritos. Now, if you guys haven't looked at any of the prices at the grocery store, you can see how shit went up. I went yesterday. I went grocery shopping yesterday, and I looked at so Walmart has like veggies. Well, it's usually like onions and peppers that's already cut up, put in containers. I usually get that because like I saute with them and stuff like that, or I'll cook them with something. Like right now, I have it because last night for my dinner I had a falafel or whatever. Due to the fact that I'm cutting back on eating so much meat because of the shortage, and I'm putting more veggies into my diet. So, you know, when I went grocery shopping this time, I had mostly vegetables in my cart than usual than what I usually do. I eat my vegetables, but I'm eating a lot of vegetables now. So yeah, prices are up right now. Not only is food prices up, but gas prices is up as well. And you gotta remember, we're kind of getting out of vacation season. Like between June, the beginning of like, or the middle of May to like July. That's when people take all of their vacations. Normally around August, that's when they cut shit out and they start going school shopping and they don't really go anywhere. But gas prices are up due to the the guys that hacked the what was that gas line called? I forgot. I did a story on that as well. Oh, the Colonial Pipeline. Um, I'm saying I don't even know why gas prices are so damn high because I blame it on the current administration because last year at this time, uh, the most you paid at the pump was probably like $2.97. That's probably the most you paid. Maybe 301, but I would say the low was like 197. That was the low. The highest was like 220. Yeah, between 225 to 297, and the lowest was like 197. Yo, I went to go and pump gas yesterday. I saw that for regular gas it's 307. Are you fucking crazy? If somebody if I didn't already know, if somebody told me that the gas price is at 307, I probably would have fought that motherfucker. I was like, man, get the fuck out my face. So I'm not even playing my sounds, but here we go. That's what I would have. That's what I would have said. Or, but anyway, um, so where we at? All right, so prices for items like meat, eggs, milk, and even potatoes skyrocketed at the beginning of the pandemic. That was last year, with May 2020 marking the steepest price incline of the cost of food bought and eat at home in 46 years. The price of corn is up by 57% in 2001 and has more than doubled in the past year, while soybean prices are up more than 25% since January 1st. If you guys don't know where soybeans, well, where you consume soybeans or how you can consume soybeans, check all your snack foods that has either soybean oil or soybeans in the recipe. So make sure you guys, cut down on your snacks and stuff like that, because soybeans does have a lot of estrogen in it, which causes young boys to grow breasts and shit like that. So just in case you're wondering why kids are morbidly obese and they're growing breasts and stuff like that, just watch the foods that they eat. All right. So so where was I at? 25% since January 1st. Although it can be somewhat gradual, even though those higher costs get passed down to the consumer, food prices now are only slightly improved. Consumer prices in June rose to 0.9% from May and 5.4% over the past year. The sharpest 12-month inflation spike since August 2008. And I remember that shit. I remember when shit started inflating and all that. But that was due to the housing market. When, all that foolishness was going on with the housing market, that's the reason why food prices went up in 2008. And gas prices as well. So look, anytime when shit goes down like this, when food starts going up, gas starts going up, and I wouldn't say clothes, but we can factor clothes into that. It's due because something somewhere is fucking up. So they got to balance, the federal budget somehow. So gas, or food, or something else goes up, which is stuff that they pass. So let me share this with y'all real fast. So let me make it a little bit bigger so you guys can read. So, what y'all need to know? So, consumers are likely to see continued price spikes at grocery stores and ingredient shortage at restaurants due to global supply chain issues, which I went over. Prices of consumer goods in June rose to 0.9% from May and 5.4% over the past year. Like I just said, the sharpest 12 months inflation since 2008. Like I already said. Taco Bell is among the latest companies to say it might not be able to complete customers' orders due to ongoing transit and supply chain problems. Like I said, there are a lot of, most of these plants and stuff like that, these food processing plants and all that, they're understaffed. And or they don't have enough supply chain or enough stuff to have these companies to get. So that's one reason of the food shortage. Also due to people not getting their I'm not going to say that, but I already said it. Due to people not getting their vaccinations as well. So, many other factors are playing into this year's price hikes, including lagging employment and the rising cost of shipping fuel. So yeah, that is that. All right. So, um, according to numbers of pantries, staples are hitting record high prices. Canola seed prices near the all-time high last week, and prices for palm oil increased dramatically after India cut its import tax on the commodity from 15% to 10%. So they're basically not making as much money as they usually would off of the what's that, the palm oil, or Yeah, the palm oil. So, a report from the Federal Reserve published in late July found that the economy strengthened further in late May and early June, despite supply chain bottlenecks that lead to price hikes. Many factors are playing into to this year's price hikes. As the economy strengthens, demands for products is outpacing manufacturers' ability to produce enough supply of the raw materials. Many manufacturers are still understaffed as employment lags the broader economic recovery. Components, well, hold on, let me stop there before I do that. The reason why people aren't going to work because they find it easier to get an unemployment check and they find it safer just to stay home. I said last week that we've learned this, and I'm gonna put this on all facets. We've learned that we don't have to go out to the movies to see a movie. We can just stay at home. We've also learned that we can be at work while being at home. Kids have also, which I kind of backed up from this. Kids should be at school, but in a way, they found it easier for them to. They found it well. I see it easier because when I went to school, they never shut it down other than for a snow day, and that's it. Um. Also, we also learned that we can get our food delivered to us. We can, either it's groceries or just something, something to eat from, the local pizzeria or, places like that. It makes us lazy in the long run, but we've been shown that we can watch the latest movie at home. We can grab the newest sensation of food and have it delivered, and we can work from home, and productivity goes up, and kids can go to school from home. Like it's really no coming back from that because people since last year have seen that hey, I can do all of this at home. Why go to work or why go to school or why do this? It's all it's all for it to me. It's all basically for who if you want to, and this should be our options. If we want to go back to work, we can go back to work. But some places they want them to be at work for the simple fact that, like certain game manufacturers, certain games got either released early or late due to people having to work at home, and it was certain bugs and stuff that they had to work out. But whatever. Um, but productivity went up, so that's what jobs should be looking at. So all right, let's get back into it. So as the economy, I said that already. Many manufacturers are still understaffed. I said that as well. No, I didn't. Uh, Companies are also hold on. Where am I? Many manufacturers are still understaffed as employment lags the broader economic recovery. I said that already. Uh, the messed up thing about all of this is not only are we as humans experiencing a food shortage, and I want people who have pets to pay attention to this. Not only are we having a food shortage, but our pets is having a food shortage as well. So if you have a dog or a cat, try, this is what I would try. Instead of going out and getting your Friskies and your what's that called, your blue bison and all that, how about you grab them, whatever meat that you can get them, vegetables as well, and make your cat or your dog their own food. Also, if you have smaller pets like hamsters and stuff like that, you can't readily find their stuff in your backyard. So, which, to be honest, if you have like a small pet like turtles or something like that, you can basically find their food in bulk anywhere. You can go on Chewy or Amazon or something like that and buy their food outright. But if you have a dog or something, if you have a big dog and you like to feed your dog enough to where they're full, and also they're getting enough protein and stuff like that, then maybe you should think about making your own dog and cat foods. They'll thank you later. All right. So, companies are also paying more for shipping as fuel costs rise and port experience longer delays because of congestions. Um. So yeah. So okay. So I'm losing my place a lot. Said that. So what y'all should do, like I said earlier, to wrap this part of the story up, maybe you should try either a vegan or vegetarian diet, maybe pescatarian. Because to be honest, just go on these diets for the time being until the food shortage is no more. So you should just get on this diet for the time being, and if you want to switch back, then more power to you. But if not, then you either stay on the diet that you're on, or you deal with not being able to get your favorite chicken wings. So what I want to do here is show you this video real fast. So let's get into it. Let me turn this music down. And let's do this.
Mass News is getting answers. A viewer emailed us wondering why she wasn't able to find some of her favorite items at local grocery stores. Last year, stores across the country saw shortages of many items due to the pandemic.
But could it be happening again? Western Mass News reporter Lexi Oliver joins us live after speaking with local grocery stores. Lexi?
Chris and Jordan, viewers tell us they were disappointed they haven't been able to cross off all the items on their grocery lists. Now, we wanted to know what local stores are seeing. A viewer reached out to us with this question. My friend went grocery shopping for me yesterday, July 28th, and she said the shelves at both Big Y and Stop & Shop in Westfield are bare. What's the scoop with scarcity of items on the shelves? Is it just in Westfield or other communities? We did a little digging and found other people have been running...
It's everywhere. If you can't find certain things that you normally would pick up, then that's why. Food shortages are happening everywhere. Not just in this country, but all around the world. I think Europe is not developing, but experiencing the worst out of, I won't say the worst out of all countries, but they're doing pretty bad over there. As far as the food shortage is, they're experiencing a lot over there with not being able to find certain things, going certain grocery stores. I don't know any grocery store chains over in Europe, but they're experiencing a lot of stuff that's going on with the food shortage over there as well.
Similar problems. On Facebook, Will asked, so is Stop & Shop on the verge of closing down or something? They haven't had any of their fried chicken in days at least. There's almost no pre-sliced items in the deli section. We checked it out for ourselves, and the Stop & Shop in Feeding Hills appear to be completely stocked with both fried chicken and pre-sliced deli meats. Western Mass News wanted to know if another round of food shortages may be headed our way, so we checked in with Stop & Shop and got this statement, quote, Stop & Shop is not currently experiencing any significant food shortages. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the national supply chain experienced incredible strain, which has continued to have long-term effects for many suppliers that Stop & Shop and other retailers work with. They go on to say, we have seen select instances of manufacturer out of stocks on certain items due to the long-term effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as labor, transportation, and freight limitations. Our teams are actively working with suppliers and vendors to keep Stop & Shop stores stocked, including Westfield and Feeding Hills. We also stopped by Fruit Fair in Chicopee. The owner tells us they are having trouble finding certain items.
Anything that basically requires a lot of labor to manufacture, like the prepackaged meats, prepackaged burgers, value-added items, there is a ton of shortages. Like a lot of like popular items too, like popsicles, different gluten-free items. They're just out of stock all the time.
She says this is in part due to the fact that they're a small business.
We carried tons and tons of products from vendors who have like 3 to 5 SKUs. So they just made those items and that's all they made. And those vendors completely went out of business due to COVID. So now it looks like they are never going to come back.
And coming up tonight on Western Mass News at 6, we check in with local school districts to see how this food shortage may impact cafeteria lunches come fall. Live in Springfield, Lexi Oliver, Western Mass News.
Well, we don't want that, do we? For schools to not have food for the kids. All right, so finish this up. Finish it. Well, yeah. But what we have to think is there's a reason for everything. We just have to understand why. So that's this story. Um, Everybody, where I found these my first two stories, uh, is various places. Um, Natural News, New York Post, Washington Post, and I think that's it. And then these two stories, these the first two videos was NBC News, and this third video is Western Mass News, which I'm pretty sure that's some Western state. So yeah. So everybody, my next story is basically all of it's my opinion essentially. Okay. So if anybody feels like I'm talking about one of their favorite YouTubers, don't. I suggest you leave now for the simple fact that I'm going all in. All right. And if you like this YouTuber, if you like this YouTuber, but you want to challenge what I'm saying, I can put up the link so you can come in. You can be a part of the show and we can talk about it. All right. So here we go. Um. So like I said, this is entirely my opinion, essentially. Okay. So this type of activity isn't just connected to the pandemic, which I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about here is that if you guys go on to YouTube and you type in any of these names, right? Kevin Samuels, Kwame Brown, Tasha K, um, Lovely T, Daytime Tea Time. Who else? Anybody that's in the beef sector of YouTube, anybody that's in the manosphere, the woman's sphere, red pills, pink pills. I only know it, and let me be honest. I only know anything about any and everything about the black sectors of YouTube. That's all I know. I'm subscribed to certain, either Asian or white or, Spanish or Latinx. I'm subscribed to them as well, but I fully focus on black YouTubers. And this is the things that I've seen lately. A lot of these people are basically zealots of these people. And when I say zealots, I mean like religious zealots of said names I've said. Kevin Samuels, Tasha K, and Kwame Brown. Right? If you go on to any of their YouTube channels, check their and if you check their comment sections, it's a lot of their followers that basically go all out for them. And not only do they go all out for them, they also harass people. All right? They harass people to no end. So, this is just their followers doing this. All right? So, we all know about the infamous Kevin Samuels and his involvement in the manosphere. Kevin leads a group of misfits that not only are on YouTube, but on Instagram as well. His talking points are the high value man theory and the submissive woman. All talking points he has no experience in displaying himself and never experienced in his not one but two marriages. Right? So y'all getting relationship advice from a man that's been married twice but has only, I'm pretty sure his first marriage worked out fine because he had a child, but they broke up. Right? So we as humans, and I would mainly say as black people, but I'm pretty sure everybody else thinks this way as well. I'm pretty sure we have said in the past to someone when it comes to relationship advice, and they've had either a failed relationship or a failed marriage, is that you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me nothing when it comes to relationships. You are basically telling me some advice that you have yet to either display or to show us. Well, that's displaying as well. But you don't follow your own advice, basically. Right? So, um, so, well, how can I put this? All right. So, what does this have to do with Kevin Samuels? Well, I'm happy you guys asked. Kevin's channel, from his standpoint, helps relationships, he says. He has said, I have helped several relationships, and, he says this damn near every video that he's helped several relationships work out and all this other crazy shit, right? Well, anybody with that track record will be glad, with two D's, to show their work. he should show his work. What relationships has he, that he has tutored to work out? You can't just say, yeah, I've helped several people. That's like saying, yeah, I got $1 million, but you have nothing to show that you have $1 million. You don't have a nice house. You don't have a nice car. You don't have anything to show that you have, or to show that you're successful. So how can you just tell your followers, yeah, I've helped several relationships work out and they're doing fine right now, without any sort of showing your work? Like they told us in school, and mainly math class, to show your work. Why hasn't Kevin showed his work yet? Because to the smart mind, to the smart person, that would show that he's bullshitting. That he has yet to show his followers or his detractors. I'm not one of his detractors at all. I personally don't, get into what Kevin Samuels talks about, but I'm always willing to learn something from somebody that has some sort of insight on something. I don't feel that he has that. He's just, he just somehow, some way, uh, tells his followers basically whatever now, because he's at 1 million followers now. So he can basically tell his followers to jump off a bridge and they'll jump off of a bridge. Turn this music up. Start that over. So, uh, so he has also, hold on, that's not where I'm at. Oh, his main theology is the high value man. Is the high value man theology, or theory, I should say. But his followers aren't high valued men. Most of them don't know what value they hold. But let's put this in context real fast, right? High value man theory has 6 tenets to it, right? Money is the first one. You have to have between 10 to 100K, what? Over time, which is the second one, between 3 to 5 years. You have to have earned each month $10,000 to $100,000, right? Group acceptance. Be a part of other high value men, right? That's the third. That's the fourth tenet. No, that's the third tenet. The fourth tenet is networking. Have a network of other high value men, right? Visibility can be found on LinkedIn, or what they do is on the LinkedIn level. This is his words, not mine, right? And utility, be a useful person or be useful to other high value men, right? That's his theology. These tenets have nothing to do with anything, but his flock takes this, and all of his broke followers can't relate. Also, with that, right? Because a lot of his followers are broke. To if, like in his, like with the high value man theory, right? With his logic, a lot of his followers, or most of his followers, I might as well say all 1 million followers of his are broke, right? And I say that to say this: if if he has a followership, right, of broke people, doesn't that hurt his brain? Because everybody, I forgot to turn this music on. So, right, that hurts his brain because he has 1 million and so followers, right? Half, I would say half is men, the other half is women. But most of the women that he has as followers, they want a high value man, which he cusses them out all the time, saying that if they don't bring anything to the table, how could they want, or how do they think that they can get a high value man, right? So with that logic, these women are broke. With his male followership, most of these fools is broke, like I said. So how can the women that he then how can the women that he he helps, how could he then match one of his followers up with one of these women that he has as followers, but his whole theology is high value man, but none of his followers are high value men? Just saying. So, but then, but then, with Kevin's words, his followers then live vicariously through him, right? Because they're broke. They have to live vicariously through him. For the simple fact that, I'll iterate again, they're broke. So, studies show that the number one cause of marriages divorcing is because of money, right? The second point on that is sex, but we won't get into that. So, since these broke dudes can't find a woman, they then live vicariously either through Kevin or other high value men, or everybody or anybody else who Kevin steals his points from. Because he says it all the time. The high value man tenants aren't his; they're somebody else's. But we'll get to that. All right. No, I don't want that slow song. All right. So, isn't this familiar though? Isn't this familiar for your local church goer? And doesn't every churchgoer want to find Christ? And don't they take the pastor's word and everything that he says and does, and everything that the pastor talks about? Isn't that sort of kind of the same of what these people are doing that's on YouTube? You gotta remember, churches, and even until now, churches aren't really churches aren't weren't really open. They're still not now. Um so people turn to alternative places of either worship or people who, are at least talking something good to them. So, that's probably how they found either Tasha K, Kevin Samuels, or Kwame Brown, or the other people that I named. Um, So basically, they don't question the very thing that someone is trying to show them is insane, right? It's insane to do. When you don't question anything that's either your pastor says or anybody that's giving you some information. I'll always used to say this, and I'll say this now. Question me, right? Because I may not have everything. You may know something of what I'm talking about, and I'm either got it wrong or I'm not saying it. So what I advise y'all to do if you're watching this live, type in the comment section where I got it wrong. I will see it. Right? So with that, I was talking about some stuff, and the guy Kronos came up, and I answered his question. And Kronos, if you're still watching, I wrote something in there for you. Thanks for your comment. So, but it's insane to follow somebody's every word. It's insane. You shouldn't be doing that. So which is take. So basically, so this is what they also do. Kevin Samuels followers. Also Kwame Brown too. They have this saying. We must protect ad name here at all costs. So we must protect Kevin Samuels at all costs. We must protect Kwame Brown at all costs. Which is also insane. Because you don't even know this person and you're trying to protect them. Right? Why in the hell are you protecting somebody that you don't know? That's number one. And they never asked you. That's number two. So why do you feel as though that you have to in your own mind protect somebody that didn't ask for protection? Right? It's totally insane. So so Kevin's followers aren't has doubled in the past year. No, that's not the right thing. I'm about to say something from the last story. So Kevin Samuels followers aren't. Well, no, I would say they are kind of like religious zealots that are kowtowing for their pastor. So that's where we must protect him at all costs. We must do this at all costs, do that at all costs. Just like your local churchgoer, if you talk bad about their pastor, they're willing to slit your fucking throat, right? I've done this podcast without cussing this whole time until now. Well, there goes my monetization. Kevin belittles women on his show, in which the calls are all staged, right? If y'all don't notice, all those calls are staged. They're either staged or they're set, maybe like a week, maybe 2 weeks in advance, maybe a month. But all the calls are staged because I don't know how he does his show because I've only watched maybe 2, and I was like, all right, I'm good. This isn't something that I need to know because number one, his philosophy is trash, and number two, this whole high value man theory is bullshit. So I'm good. So so yeah, he belittles all the women that come on the show, and all the calls are staged that you see on the show. Excuse me. Because look, what freelance caller, right? What freelance caller uh that wants advice, right? Wants to be belittled, right? Like if this person's asking you for advice and then they're telling you that they feel that such and such, but then you come back and you're like and you just like berating them the whole time for no fucking reason. Like he doesn't even know these women and he's berating them. So how can someone follow somebody who not only belittles women or probably a potential mate for you, but everybody thinks the same that's in the manosphere. So I don't see anything different, right? I don't see anything that any of these manosphere dudes do that doesn't compliment someone else that that they're in the manosphere with. And I mean compliment as he says something, like Kevin says something, and then like a person that he's cool with on YouTube like expounds on what he says and agrees with him. So they coalesce with each other. So basically when he belittles these women, it just furthers his narrative of the modern day woman. His words, not mine. So so let's look at it like this, right? Let's say you go and nah, that's a bad parable. Uh, well, really, the example is in itself. To be honest, if you just watch his show, you can see how his talking point of the day, which he doesn't really have. Look, Kevin will do a monologue, right? He'll do a monologue of what his show is about that day. After his monologue, he just goes over the same shit that he went over in the last episode. That's basically it. He just talks about what he's going to talk about. He gets distracted from something, then he goes back to so high value man, blah 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 blah, and it's like, come on, dog, like you're running a show, like you don't have any type of relationship advice, information, and to be honest, how is he giving relationship advice if he's a image consultant? How does an image consultant then jump into relationship advice with no training whatsoever, no training from any college, from him trying to be a psychologist or anything? That's nothing. He has no sort of training at all. He said he has a corporate background, but then that's just like what? What example did I bring up? I've helped several relationships. He has nothing to show what company he worked for, nor does he ever bring up what company he worked for when he was in corporate America. So how is anybody following somebody that deliberately lies to their face? Like, come on, man. Anyway, so in my observation, Kevin is a very soft man, and that's soft with a capital T. He's a very soft man with a lot of feminine traits. If that isn't a red flag for disaster, then I don't know what is. Like, that's a red flag for disaster. He if you watch his show, he has a lot of feminine traits about himself that makes me think, well, if he was on the alternative lifestyle side of the game, why is he giving men advice? I.e. his glitch, but we won't talk about that. His glitch. So just think, an effeminized male giving you a relationship advice. What in the world? In what world does that happen? So to his high value man theory, which isn't, a talking point, which isn't his talking point. It comes from a white guy by the name of, is it Rollo Tomasi? Rollo Tomasi, I think, came up with the high value man theory. But that's not the only thing he steals. He also takes from fellow YouTuber that he's watched before, Tommy Sotomayor. Now, a lot of people don't like Tommy Sotomayor and what he does and stuff like that. But it's several YouTubers who take from Tommy Sotomayor. A lot of YouTubers. And you may not even think that you're doing it, but he's been here so long. He's been here, like a few years after YouTube, was something. He's been doing shows on YouTube since 2009. So, come on. Not talking about Kevin, but talking about Tommy Sotomayor. He's been doing shows since 2009. But hey, if his main talking point is the high value man and why aren't high value men coming to his aid and taking his advice, no one sees the problem with this. Just saying, make better choices. Just saying. Like I said earlier, why isn't high value men, why isn't he interviewing other high value men so it shows my theory is actually, right. My theory is this high value man here that, I considered a high value man, and he's going to tell a story of how he got, his gains and stuff like that, and maybe you guys can take something from it and be the high value men that I want you guys to be. But he doesn't. It's just him talking about high value man theory, which I call it the high value man theory. He talks about the high value man theory, and then he berates women. How's that being a high value man? I don't get it. Anyway. So, the next person I want to get off of Kevin. So the next person I want to bring up is Tasha K. If anybody hasn't seen her show, I'm pretty sure your girlfriend probably watches her show. If she's a ratchet. So let me see. Because I lost my place again. All right. So, all right. So, why? Okay. So, let me just read from the page because I'm losing my place. So Tasha K does a gossip channel. She basically gossips about celebrities and politicians and shit like that. or like celebrities' relationships and stuff like that. So some people may say, okay, well, no big deal, right? But she also has, well, not her personally, but there's also people that's just like her, YouTubers, I should say. You have like Lovely Tea, Daytime Tea Time, list goes on. So they basically just lie on celebrities. If you ever watch their shows, it's like, uh, let me come up with like a stupid So Tasha K or any of these other people, they'll be like, well, if you guys haven't heard, um, um, Sierra is thinking about divorcing, what's his name? I forgot that football player's name. Something Wilson, right? So they'll be like, yeah, so and so is thinking about divorcing, uh, the football player, and they'll have this long contrived show on why Sierra's trying to divorce homeboy, or uh, uh, they do. She does a lot about the girls on the rail. She'll say like Adrian is sneaking behind her husband's back and cheating on him. Like, it's like, how does this advance my life at all? Like, I'm here for the entertainment, but it's like, when you sitting here talking about people, I'm cool. I don't need to watch this. I'm cool. So, and I'm not saying this because I hate these people. I'm just saying, like, it's all of this stuff that she says, and it's like, it's not backed by anything at all. Like, she always says, sources say, but then she doesn't give her sources for the simple fact that, you know how people say this this little thing. They're like, well, if I tell you my sources won't tell me anything. Well, check this out. Y'all remember when y'all was in school and y'all was doing book reports? Remember you had to write your where you found all your sources from? Either if you found it from an article, the internet, or a book, you had to cite your sources. So since her sources aren't being cited, how can you take that into being, real? Which makes it fake at this point. Which all the news that they're giving off is fake news. So yeah. So also, when Tasha K did that to a certain rap superstar, Cardi B, Cardi B said, well, she's not about to do this shit to me. And she put a lawsuit on her. The lawsuit is currently ongoing, so I really can't say much about it. I'm not a part of it, but I can't say much about the lawsuit for the simple fact that it's ongoing, and I ain't trying to be summoned to court for any bullshit. But Cardi B is suing Tasha K for all the lewd and outright disrespectful things that she said about her and her family and stuff. So, where am I at? So Kwame Brown, right? Kwame Brown spent 13 seasons in the NBA, played with some of the best. You know what I mean? Played with Jordan. He played with Kobe Bryant, as well as playing against, elite basketball players like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, the usual suspects. So, after 20 years of him being ridiculed in like the sports arena, like the sports, news things, he was being ridiculed. And after 20 years, he decides to come out and start to say shit about it, right? All because in the past, Jordan has said something about him. Kobe Bryant has said something about him. Stephen A. always brings him up, and other like sports newscasters bring him up as like a parable, as like the worst player ever. Like had a lot of praise in the beginning, but like failed miserably. That's like Stephen A's and other newscasters like talking points when it comes to him as being like one of the worst NBA players ever to play basketball. And then he fights with he gets into a verbal exchange with the All the Smoke podcast and threatening to fight Matt Barnes and Stack 5. Which Matt Barnes, he's about that life, and he said, look, we ain't got to talk about it. I'll be in Atlanta such and such date. This is like months past. And he said, look, I'll meet you somewhere and we can get this off our chest. But what he did, he ran back to YouTube and just started talking shit. Now, his followers are also the same as Kevin Samuels. His followers probably I don't know. His followers probably had harassed, said probably all of them. Stephen A. Smith, Jordan, Michael Jordan, Stack 5, and Matt Barnes. They probably have went to their social media and started trying to ridicule them or whatever. But you gotta remember, now Matt Barnes wasn't the best basketball player, but he did his years. So was Stack 5. Stack 5 doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, but he has a reputation of being a good dude and sticking to his word and shit like that. So Stack 5 is personally I would say probably amongst his peers is probably somebody that they can go to. So he does his lives, right? And his whole thing now is he wants to help children, and he wants black people to stop like beefing with each other. When he does just that, when somebody says something about it, then it's usually somebody black, and he starts talking crazy to them. When it's like, hey, I thought you're trying to bring people together, but you're talking crazy about the very thing you said you want people not to do. Okay. So everybody knows like Kwame's catchphrase and all that, mom was cooking and shit like that. But then with that, his followers then when they start harassing people, they say mama's cooking to other people. They'll either be on their live when someone's either talking crazy about Matt Barnes, not Matt Barnes, but Kwame Brown, and they'll just keep spamming mama's cooking in their comment section. Right? And it's like these people ain't got nothing better else to do other than to take up for somebody that didn't take up for herself for over 20 years. Like it doesn't make any sense. Why are you choosing somebody else's battle that they should have did 20 years ago? All this could have been squashed if he would have just came out and said, "Look, I don't like what you're saying about me, and I want it to stop. If not, I guess he's from the hood. He could have said, or we can handle this like grown men." But he chose not to. But now other people are now taking his flack, or not his flack, but taking up for him and handling what he should be handling. Makes no sense. All right. So, like I said, his whole thing is that he wants to help. He wants to help the kids. He's always talking about building a community center for kids, getting kids shoes, and teaching kids coding. He also brings up that he's a millionaire. Now look, with his money, he said, he's a millionaire. He could build. He could create a business, a LLC, a nonprofit. He could get all his, forms that he needs, his 501c3s, his 501c4s, so he can get government funding to fund his community center or centers. And then he can then start teaching kids this coding shit. But the one thing with coding is old. Coding isn't something that kids actually need to learn how to do, because kids can learn coding just by being on their iPad, their iPhone. There's apps. I'm pretty sure if you type in coding on the App Store, it'll bring up something that is similar, or is a teachable app that can teach kids how to code. But he doesn't bring that up. So he wants kids to code, but then he doesn't have the ability to teach kids how to code. All he has to do is maybe hire somebody to come on the show and then have them show kids how to code on the show. Or with his whole shoe drive thing, he could link up with other shoe drives in other counties or cities. Link up with these shoe drives and either donate either some shoes or some money, so these non-profits can go out and buy kids shoes. But do you think he does? No. All he does is take super chats and collect his money. And I tell you, and I'll bring up a reason why I feel as though, since he's a millionaire, why is he taking super chats? He should be donating that money somewhere, maybe to help the kids. So he got into a stint with Charlemagne the God, right? So Charlemagne the God, he's not exempt for what he did. He brought up some shit that Kwame Brown knew of that really didn't mean anything. Like, to us, it didn't mean anything, but to him, he knew all about, what he was talking about. So Kwame got at him like he should have. And so to stick the knife in a little deeper, Kwame brought up Charlemagne's accuser, right? So he brought up Charlemagne's accuser. Her name is leaving me, but he had her on. So Kwame had Charlemagne's accuser on his show. Kwame's collecting super chats, but he did not once on camera offer that woman those super chats, because this case is ongoing as well. I think the girl is trying to sue Charlemagne for damages, and so I won't get into that or whatever. But you brought a victim, an alleged victim, on your show, and she's telling you everything about what happened and what she needs and uh, what she wants to accomplish when she, either sues him or gets, what she's owed. He got views off of her, but did not offer her any type of financial help or anything to then further her her crusade on getting Charlemagne either prosecuted or sentenced or something. But that doesn't come up. He doesn't bring that up. So since Kwame Brown is one of these new pastors, like Kevin Samuels and like Tasha K and everybody else that I spoke on, what is everybody getting out of this? Because Kwame Brown basically does the same show every day, just like Kevin. At least with Tasha K and all these other gossip channels, they got topics to go over. They got, the time's rolling. They got shit to do. So they're giving you all the information that they have and that they can give you at the time before they get off. I understand that completely. But Kevin Samuels and Kwame Brown does the same goddamn show every fucking time. If Kwame Brown ain't talking about the same motherfuckers he has beef with, he's either playing some, somebody else's YouTube video, and then basically not stopping it, but talking over it to, I don't even know why he does it. It's not a fun show at all to watch. And his cronies are in the comment section hyping him up. It's like, what are you doing? This shit looks like mental illness. Kwame Brown is a case study, for real. So, but I want to end this. I want to end this like this. These are the new pastors of today with their zealots that protect them at all costs and never think for themselves. This country and its citizens are in crisis, and we're worried about individuals that don't enhance life, but actually are, is a distraction from what is really going on. So if any of these individual followers are seeing this, learn how to think for yourself. I would say, and come up with your own philosophies, and then have someone challenge them to see if you really believe what you think is right to you. Because everybody deserves to be critiqued sometimes for their philosophies and theologies in which they believe. So, everybody, if you reach the end of this show, I want to thank you and give you hold on, where's that? Give you a round of applause. All right. So, I want to go over some things before I get out of here. So, everybody, if you could, pay attention to what I'm about to say. So, like I said earlier, I am streaming live using Restream. I'm streaming live to both YouTube and Facebook. Okay? Restream is the tool I use, and I like it. They're not paying me anything to say this. I'm just saying that I like this website because it's easy to use. Everybody, Fridays and Saturdays, okay? I'm on here on both Facebook and YouTube at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please check what time zone you live in. There's Eastern Standard, there's Central, there's Mountain, and there's West Coast time. Every time I think is like an hour behind each other. So Central Time is an hour behind Eastern. Mountain Time is an hour behind Central, and out West is an hour behind Mountain Time. So please know what time zone you're in for when my show goes live. Or if you could, I didn't do this earlier, please share this, subscribe, okay? Comment, like it, please. Alright? Also, if you have any sort of like recommendations, matter of fact, I didn't even so yeah, Friday is the game stream. Okay? If you enjoy shit like that, Friday's the game stream. And then Saturday is my podcast, which I'm doing right now. Alright? So if you're interested in either one or both, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. When you subscribe, when the bell comes up, hit it to all, okay? And share this to y'all social medias if you could. Get the word out. So if you have any ideas for the podcast or any game recommendations for the game stream, either comment on either YouTube or Facebook, or you can DM me. You can DM me at my social medias, and my social medias are right here. Instagram at marcus.speaks.podcast. Facebook, my personal page is Marcus Speaks. Then I have a group page for the podcast, which is called Marcus Speaks PC. The way you can find that on Facebook is if you type in Marcus Speaks. No. The group page is Marcus Speaks Podcast. The way you can find me on Facebook, if you go to Facebook search engine, go into search Marcus Speaks PC, and you should be able to find me. And then for all my Facebook folks, I'm over here on YouTube, okay? After you guys get done watching this live stream, the live stream does go down, all right? I will take both of the group channel, the group page, and this personal page's live video. I'm deleting it, and the the YouTube link will be in its place. So I'm basically just trying to direct traffic back to YouTube. That's all. So everybody, if you made it this far, I thank y'all for watching, and I will catch y'all next Friday. Peace out. Catch y'all next week.